We are in the Blue Heron Nature Preserve Community Garden in Buckhead in Atlanta, Georgia, speaking with Kevin McCauley, the man who makes it all happen. What is the name of what's your position here, Kevin?
I'm head gardener. I don't have an official title. I just do what they tell me when
You really put in a lot of work in this place. What makes you so dedicated to it?
I just love being outside, and I love to see other people come outside and enjoy the beautiful weather, be it the spring or fall, or even now when it gets cold and in the winter. It's just a great place to be outside.
It's a great project. Tell me a little bit about the history of this project.
Well, this is part of the Blue Heron Nature Preserve, which was started about 10 years ago by a school teacher, Nancy Jones, who was an art teacher for Sarah Smith Elementary. She lived in the neighborhood, had a son who used to play in the woods around Nancy Creek, just behind where I'm sitting. And she wanted to do something to preserve it for not only for her son, but for the kids that were in the neighborhood and the kids that would come after her. So she was in a position several years ago where there was a developer who had wanted to build a townhome development, and he wanted to build it close to the creek, so there's some issues with the floodplain and issues with building close to the creek. So he had some land that straddled the creek, and she was able to convince him to turn over a portion of the land that he was going to develop on and set it aside as a nature preserve, with the understanding that by doing that he was able to proceed with his project. So it's now a townhome development. One of our gardeners actually lives in the townhomes that were built, but there were 7 acres that were initially established for the preserve, and then over the course of the last 10 years we've been able to add to that. We now have 25 acres.
At what point did you come into the project?
I've known Nancy since before she really started with Blue Heron. She taught art at Sarah Smith for my 2 daughters. So we knew her as a teacher first, and then I got a little bit involved just as a friend when she was starting to talk about working with this developer. But it was only several years later that I became officially involved. She and another woman, Erica Archibald, who were really the founders of the preserve, wanted to start building out an organization around it, and they asked me to participate. So I started working probably about 7-8 years ago with Nancy and Erica.
Tell me what the latest improvement is and what's next.
Well, our biggest thing is the most recent acquisition was probably 2 years ago. We got the city to purchase 5 acres of land on the corner of Lakemore and Roswell Road across from Pike's Nursery. It was an architect firm property. They had outgrown the property and wanted to move, and Nancy had talked to them several times prior to that, and they were agreeable to turn the property over to the city at a price, of course. So the city purchased the property, and that became the Blue Heron headquarters. We have our offices there. Atlanta Audubon Society is also located in that building, and we also have a non-profit international school that's been established, Little Da Vinci International School. So we kind of use that as our home base. It also is a way for us to get revenue, because our tenants pay us a rent, and we're able to cover our costs and then some. So the money that we get from the rent helps to establish things like the pavilion that you see there, and other improvements in the property. So we've got all sorts of plans to try to build trails and try to make the outdoors much more inviting and available to the neighborhood, and hope that over time we can really establish this as something the community can be proud of and can enjoy for years to come.
Congratulations on the work.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Scott.